where there's been a big debate in the Parliament this morning on the future of the European Union. And I made a little speech this morning where I told them that whatever they say, whatever they think, almost doesn't matter, because there has been an attitudinal shift amongst the voters in the European Union that I think spells the end of this project in its current form. This is what I said. Mr. Verhofstadt this morning said the people want more Europe. They don't. The people want less Europe. And we see this again and again when people have referendums and they reject aspects of EU membership. But something more fundamental is going on out there. Yes, you can say they're lying, and I've no doubt that many of you here, when you hear what I'm about to say, will probably despise your own voters. Because just last week, Chatham House, the reputable group, published a massive survey from 10 European member states, and only 20% of people want immigration from Muslim countries to continue. Just 20% want us to keep on allowing people in from Muslim countries, which means your voters have a harder line position on this than Donald Trump or myself or, frankly, any party sitting in this Parliament. And that is where we're going. And I simply cannot believe that you're blind to the fact that even Mrs. Merkel has now made a U-turn and wants to send people back. Even Mr. Schulz thinks that it's a good idea. The fact is, the European Union has no future at all in its current form, and I suspect you're in for as big a shock in 2017 as you were in 2016. Well, what can you say? It is a remarkable piece of polling. Chatham House, a very reputable group, in many ways a very establishment group, and they polled 10,000 people across 10 different European countries, big countries mostly, and they asked them a simple question: should all further migration from mainly Muslim countries be stopped? And the results were astonishing. In Poland, 71% said yes. In the United Kingdom, it was below 50%. In Spain, it was below 50%, but in Germany and the others, it was all consistently well above 50%. But only 20%, only 1 in 5 out of this 10,000 survey thought actually that maintaining some form of immigration from these countries made sense. Now, I have spent much of my political career arguing that immigration should be controlled, fighting and saying we must be careful about allowing terrorists into our country, and we need to vet carefully.
They're intentionally leaving the borders open in Europe, bringing in mass refugees. Among them are going to be jihadists who are setting up a future Tet-style offensive in Europe. And the same thing's being done to this country.
On her way to work one morning, down the path along the lake, a tender-hearted woman saw a poor, half-frozen snake. His pretty colored skin had been all frosted with the dew. "Oh, well," she cried, "I'll take you in, and I'll take care of you. Take me in, O tender woman. Take me in, for heaven's sake. Take me in, O tender woman," sighed the vicious snake. "Take me in, O tender woman. Take me in, for heaven's sake. Take me in, O tender woman," sighed the vicious snake. Now she clutched him to her bosom. "You're so beautiful," she cried. "But if I hadn't brought you in, by now you might have died." She stroked his pretty skin, and then she kissed and held him tight. But instead of saying thank you, that snake gave her a vicious bite. "I saved you," cried the woman, "and you've bit me. Heavens, why? You know your bite is poisonous, and now I'm going to die." "Oh, shut up, silly woman," said the reptile with a grin. "You knew damn well I was a snake before you took me in."
And all you ISIS people threatening us, hey, we're not a French newspaper, okay? We got people that have taken your asses out in this building right now. We're armed to the teeth, and we're not scared. You got that, you sons of bitches? And our leaders, our Christian leaders, are controlled and won't stand up for us. We're under attack, people, and Christians should come together. And even if you don't believe in Christianity, but you believe in Western culture and freedom, You shouldn't like your culture, what you came from, being under attack and being replaced with a bunch of crazy radical jihad crap. And people know I was against the Middle Eastern wars. I don't dislike Muslims or Arabs or any of it. But I'm not going to bend over with a bunch of radical ones telling me that my daughters belong to them and are going to wear hoods on their heads over my dead body.
55% of Europeans agreed with the statement that they want to stop all further migration from mainly Muslim countries. 55%. Now, don't go thinking that, well, 45% said the opposite. No. 25% responded they don't know, so they didn't have an opinion either way. Just 20% of Europeans support further Muslim immigration. They asked 10,000 people in 10 different European countries, do you agree with the statement all further migration from mainly Muslim countries should be stopped? The huge, significant, clear majority agreed with that statement. This mainstream media narrative that this is a fringe issue, that it's outrageous, that it's racist to agree with this, completely debunked. This is now the mainstream view. We'll be back on the Alex Jones Show live with more. Infowars.com. Don't go away. You can break it down country by country. Even in Spain, which shows the weakest support for halting Muslim immigration, 41% endorse a halt compared to 32% who don't. And that is the weakest. And that's obviously because Spain hasn't had mass Muslim immigration, so they haven't had to deal with the consequences of it so far. But even in the weakest countries in terms of support for this statement, those are the numbers. You look at France, which of course over the past 2 years, numerous horrific terror attacks. They've had the Calais migrant camp debacle. They've had, basically now you go to Paris, it's like an open air migrant camp. There are people with mattresses on the streets. Even in the upscale areas of Paris, you look at the numbers there, 61% oppose Muslim immigration. And we're talking about a total ban here. 61% oppose, just 16% support it in France. Look at Germany, where, of course, they've invited in, what is it up to now, 1.3, 1.5 Muslim migrants, 99% Muslim migrants. Cologne, mass molestation, Hamburg, other areas. Well, the numbers show 53% of Germans support a total halt on Muslim immigration compared to 19% who oppose that view. And you can go through it country by country. Poland is even stronger, 71% oppose it compared to just 9% who support it. And then you look at millennials. They, out of everyone asked this same question, do you agree with the statement, all further migration from mainly Muslim countries should be stopped? Amongst millennials, 18 to 29, 44% agree with that statement compared to 27% who don't. So even millennials support this by a clear majority. We're talking about by a 17% majority. Millennials in Europe want a total ban on Muslim immigration. Those are absolutely extraordinary numbers.